Appointments cancelled, patients turned away and telephone lines brought down. Just some of the chaos reported in England after a huge cyber attack struck the country's state-run hospitals. The National Health Service says that no patient data has, though, been accessed in the so-called ransomware attack. The British Prime Minister is being kept up to date by the National Cyber Security Centre. Theresa May says the attack on systems there is part of a much wider international attack that's affected other countries worldwide, including Spain and Russia. Our reporter Duncan Woodside has more now from central London.
This attack has now been designated a major incident by Britain's government in consultation with NHS Digital. That's the digital arm of the National Health Service. Now, the attack began in England. It's now spread to Scotland as well, with at least 21 hospitals affected, according to the NHS, and possibly substantially more than that, possibly double that, according to some sources. Now, it is a ransomware attack that effectively locks down computer systems, hard drives, etc., and demands money. Some NHS workers saying that they were being asked for $300 to get access once again to their systems. Now, it does appear that this attack may not have been specifically targeted at the National Health Service. That's something that the National Health Service is saying, and indeed other organisations have been affected, including universities here in the UK. But obviously this is a major concern for people, particularly those who have appointments or major operations over the next few days. There have been instances of heart operations being cancelled today, for example, as a result of this attack. But emergency systems are largely safe, according to the NHS. That's because of backup systems for emergency procedures and emergency response.
Cyber attacks have been reported on organisations around the world, including in Britain, Spain, Russia, the United States and China. In the UK, the public health system has been strained, with doctors blocked from patient files, but the Prime Minister said that hospitals had not been deliberately targeted. Well, the attack involved ransomware, a kind of malware that encrypts data and locks out the user. The BBC's Dave Lee joins us now from San Francisco with more. Dave, I suppose the big question is, who was behind it?
That is a very big question. A question we can't quite answer yet, I have to say. This is a very sophisticated attack. We don't know quite where it originated from. Now, the intriguing part of this attack is that it appears to have used a tool that was originally created by the US government in the National Security Agency, the NSA. And their tools were recently leaked by a hacking group, so everyone could see these tools. They were public. They could use them for their own hacking if they wanted to. And security experts at the time warned that something like this could happen if institutions didn't upgrade their computers quickly enough. And it seems that has happened in, well, countless examples across the world, particularly in the UK, particularly in Europe. And questions are being asked now about that process that the US government has for creating these tools, given that when they become public, they can cause such damage.
Yeah, and not just small and medium-sized companies. We're looking at the National Health System, Telefonica in Spain. I mean, those are big companies. Just explain what happens, and has anyone ever paid that ransom? Because basically it's a ransom for a password to unlock your data, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Ransomware is a growing technique used by cyber hackers. It encrypts files on local machines and across networks, as we've seen today. And in order to unencrypt those files, you have to pay a fee. Now, in this case, they seem to just target as many possible institutions as they could. And we've seen this before. We've seen this in the US. A few months previous, there was a hospital in Los Angeles that paid a ransom of around $17,000 in order to get their data back. And so we have seen it happen quite often. There is an element of blame, though, to be put on some of these institutions, because a fix to prevent this happening has been available for almost 2 months now. So there is a finger to be pointed at those IT professionals in some of those big networks that should be keeping these systems up to date, but on today's evidence haven't been doing that.
Briefly, Dave, are there techniques, there firewalls which can keep this malware out or not?
Well, it's very difficult. The weakest point of any network, as we often say, or as security experts often say, the weakest point is always the human being using the computer. And what happens is people get these emails, they're tricked into clicking something they shouldn't, and that's when these things take hold.
Dave Lee, thanks very much indeed.